Ready? And how was it? Good? How's your first week? Okay? Okay. Did you read your book? Did you read your book? Yes or no? Okay, I will look at it. Huh? Who read the book? Could you please raise your hand? Who read it? Okay, so this is your second week, and we hope to finish this chapter this week. But before we begin with the discussion, let me call on the first news of the day. Isn't it? We have news of the day. Ginger, can you come over here? Isn't it? News of the day. There are 3 people. Okay, so who would like to volunteer first? Okay, gentlemen first. Okay, come. We have Ginger, Wood, and Amkan. Okay?
Good morning, teacher and everybody. I talk about news of the day, Denmark and Netherlands. The news is from CNN online on Sunday, 10 June 2012. Denmark produced the first major surprise of Euro 2012 as Morten Olsen side recurve was scored win over the Netherlands in Kharkiv. Michael Conn scored the only goal of the game to Netherlands. One of Euro 2012 is heavyweight. A real challenge to qualify from Group B and reach the knockout stage. France will be side the next play. Germany, who beat Portugal, was scored in this thanks to Mario Gomez is second half goal. In game that never met, the drama of Denmark's victory. Denmark win Netherlands from score 1-0.
Very good. So, could you tell your friends what is the news about? Sports, okay? Okay. I told you any news you can share to your friends, okay? And what is your opinion about this?
My opinion is not surprised because football in the game is not is impossible. It's not impossible. It's impossible of everything. Okay.
Okay. Very good, Mr. Angkan. I will give you very good points because did you see? He's very direct when he said that it's not a surprise that Denmark won. Denmark won. I'm not fanatic in sports. I do read news. If it's basketball, I will read. I'm not a fan of football. But anyway, do you like watching football? No. Okay, no. Many of you said no. But by the way, class, I know that many people in Thailand, you love to watch football, isn't it? So what is it to you, to the gentlemen? If Denmark won, Angkan said it's not a surprise that Denmark won. Is Denmark really good team? Okay. What? No. What about Thailand? Do you see Thailand to compete internationally or in World Cup anytime soon? What do you think, Mr. Angkan? Come on. Come here. What do you think, Mr. Angkan? Do you think Thailand team can compete in Football World Cup anytime soon? What do you think?
Thailand team is not really to the international game.
Why do you think so? Yeah. Okay, why do you think so? I agree with you.
Because the body size is small. That gas
Not that strong.
the Lord international people. Okay.
Okay. But okay, thank you very much, Mr. Angkan. But you know what? Mr. Angkan also said a while ago that there's nothing impossible. Right? Who knows? Just keep on, right? And who knows that in the next 10 years or in the next 5 years, Thailand will compete in the World Cup, Football World Cup. Okay, that's very good. Please give a hand to Mr. Angkan. Very good, Mr. Angkan. Next, Mr. Wood.
Hello everybody. My name is Wood. Many children in some part for Thailand ask you if which school you season and which out opportunity to go to school. And
Where did you get the news? Mr. Angkan said he got his news last Sunday in CNN, right? That's very good. What about your news?
the nation.
The Nation. Okay. There is it's an English version, right? Okay. And Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Sunday. Okay.
And name is of Thursday. Coffee restaurant. Is coming up with as in the evening. To help the
Underprivileged.
underprivileged students in Chiang Mai. The Lion Child for his skill. Him is now his some poster the schemes poster at facebook.com Coffee World Thailand dot live like and share to children as
Okay. The news is about like and share scheme. You have to like in Facebook, right? Coffee lovers. The purpose of this is like a project. He said that there are many children in Thailand who are still in poor nutrition and cannot go to school. So this is in which province? Which province? In Thailand. Which part of Thailand? Chiang Rai. Okay, so this is in Chiang Rai. So they just have to click. You have to click. You have Facebook, isn't it? You just have to click like, and you will be able to help children, right? Okay. What is your opinion about that? What is your opinion, Mr. Borobon? Okay. What else? What do you think? What is your opinion about the news? Anyone? What is your opinion about the news? Yes? Okay, she said we should click like and share. So you will be able to help the poor children, okay? Help them to go to school and get good education and get good nutrition as well. Okay? What else? Number one, what is your opinion about the news? Anyone? What is your opinion about the news? Yes? Any opinion about the news? No opinion? Gentlemen. Okay? Okay, thank you. I would like to share to you that that project is very good project because just like what he said, there are still many children who is suffering from malnutrition and cannot go to school. So you are very lucky, right? So if ever you will see that in Facebook, when you press like, okay, will you like it? Of course. If I see it too, I will definitely like it. It's kind of you going to help those people, okay? And just click on the mouse and you will be able to help. We don't know how many children, okay? So we had two gentlemen and the last is Jinjura, okay?
Good morning, teacher, and good morning, everybody. Matthew McMillan reading Brazilian model. Added from their name, changed to international. Matthew, he is an actor from Hollywood. He got married with Brazilian model.
So we are in Hollywood, okay? What's the title of the news? Matthew McConaughey, wedding Brazilian model. Okay. It's a wedding, okay?
They were in Cleveland ceremony in the state of Texas. They have in the service, they have already person and family. In addition, when he ever start with Daniel Robin course, and he started with Jennifer Lopez in a winning manner. It's a month ago. My opinion, he was a great actor and great movie. And like his movie resembled a similar, a guy in 10 days. He was being recognized by People magazine, the 16th man in the world. Thank you.
Okay. Do you know the person she's talking about? Do you know him? Okay. Yeah. Go to your seat. Very good. Talking about the wedding. You're still very young, okay? She just read the news and she is a fan of Matthew. That's why she wanted to share to you about the wedding. Teacher, I would like to ask you, in Thailand, you have traditional Thai wedding and we have Western wedding, right? In traditional Thai wedding, the man has to give to the woman a dowry, jewelry, money, right? Gold, right? How much money? How much? It depends, right? It depends on status or education of the woman. Bachelor degree, how much? And master degree, how much? PhD degree, more expensive, right? Right? Okay, more expensive. And how many kilos? 10 kilos? Gram of gold, isn't it? Okay, so this is the Thai traditional wedding, and you have to wear the Thai traditional dress, and the ceremony will take place in the morning and in the evening, right? And the bride has to wear different wedding dresses, right? Different wedding dresses. In Western country, it's different. They don't need to give dowry. We call it dowry. The jewelry and the money, they don't need to give that. They just celebrate with friends, celebrate with family, okay? Different tradition. If I were to ask you, which kind of wedding would you like to have 20 years from now? You'll be allowed to get married 20 years from now. I'm kidding, okay? Because your mom will not allow you to get married this early. Okay, so which type of wedding would you like to have? Is there the Thai traditional wedding or the Western style? Which one do you like? Which one do you like? Titira, if I were to ask you, which type of wedding would you like to have? The Thai traditional or Thai traditional wedding? So you like your boyfriend or your fiance to give you the dowry, the money, and the jewelry, okay? It's okay. That's what you like. It's part of your culture, okay? What about you? What do you like? Thai traditional also. And you? Thai traditional also. In Western style, the difference is that it depends if you're going to get married in a different kind of church. But you just have to walk down the aisle, right? And your groom is there waiting for you, isn't it? Waiting for you. And then getting your hands from your parents. That's the difference, okay? Just like in a movie, okay? Who says, for the gentleman, I think you will say, would you choose the Western style wedding? Western style, you don't need to give money and jewelry, right? And normally, it's the gentleman, it's the groom who will give the money, right? And go. Which one you will choose, Mr. Ampan? Thai traditional or the Western style wedding? Thai traditional also. Ah. What about you? Which one you will choose? Thai traditional or Western style? Thai traditional. Anyone who choose Western style? Anyone? Oh, Mr. Ramon and Miss? Okay. Why did you choose Western style? Okay. It looks wonderful. What about you, Ramon? Why did you choose Western style? You want to marry a foreigner? Why? It looks beautiful. You look like romantic. Okay. She said it's more romantic. Who else? Only two people? Only two people? Huh? You want to go to another country? Okay. So, for next week, thank you for the three Mr. Akhan, Mr. Murawik, and Ms. Jinjura for the news of the day. And next week, we're going to have Panida, Titirat, Pacharia, Prapo. Okay? So please be ready. Could you please make your opinion longer? Okay? Make your opinion longer. Okay? And could you please choose something about politics? Okay? Because today we have light topics about Hollywood star, about sports already, about a project. So please choose another topic, okay? About politics. Okay, so let's move on. Can I check your book? Did anyone from you read a book? Not yet. Sorry? I read only 45. How many people in this class? I will ask who to make another copy. Okay? Okay. Very good. You read your book. You see this girl? She read it. Okay? Oliver. Only, what's your name? Only read her book. Okay? What about you guys? Very good, Mr. Rahman. Number 9? Do you understand? At least, okay? Mr. Rahman read this. What about you people? Nobody. Next week, I will only give the points to Mr. Rahman for today. Next week, I will only give the points to Mr. Rahman. Where's your book? He's reading your book, I hope. Okay? Okay? Only one person read it. What about boy? Very good. Everything? Did you translate everything? Very good. Okay. Let's continue on with our discussion. Last week, we discussed about the different methods of the study of political science, isn't it? So we said that experimental, historical, comparative, analytical, psychological, juridical, philosophic, and sociological and biological method. So this one, just to have a short review, experimental method is focused on describing and understanding political problems, isn't it? Okay. And we uses the inductive method in order to discover the general political truth. So we compare the difference between inductive and deductive method. What about this? We go to the second one. We have historical method. What about this method? Anyone? Do you understand history? History. Okay? History and political science, they go hand in hand. They said that if historical methods helps to depict the evolution of political science. It tells about the history, okay? If there is no history, political science has no root, okay? It's like a tree. You know a tree? Can a tree grow without a root? No. So if you compare political science and history, political science is the tree, okay? And the root is the history, okay? So just like why do we know about the history of political science? We go back to history. Okay, you remember last week? Isn't it? We discussed about what is the first period? Where we studied the three great philosophers. Yes, Jinjura? What is the first one? Again? Again? What is it? What are you talking about? So, we're talking about the three great philosophers. I'm telling you that last week we studied the history of political science. In studying political science, one of the mentioned is historical method. Because history will give you the root. Do you know a tree? Right? A tree has a root. If no roots, the tree will die. Very good. Right? So, for political science too, political science cannot grow without history. Okay? So, history is very important. Okay, so look at this. It seeks to and it traces their origin and follow their developments, taking note of evaluating the process and influence that have directed their course. It is considered to be a comparative method by which the solutions are arrived at in the light of past experiences. How will you know what will happen, what happened in the past? You have to go back to history. Can I? Okay? If we're going to study the politics in Thailand, we hope some people will trace back and go back to different periods. Right? You have Ayutthaya period. What else? What else? Sukhothai period. What else? I said already. Ayutthaya period. What else? What period do you have right now? Okay. Ratanakosin period. In order to explain well the politics in Thailand, political science in Thailand, you have to go back to your history. Okay? And you have to compare the past experiences with what you have right now. Okay? In Thailand, you have the feudal system before, and then in 1932 it was changed, and you have your democracy, isn't it? And you have democracy, and then you're now using constitutional monarchy, isn't it? You have the constitution, and at the same time you have the king and the queen, isn't it? Okay. So that is historical method. And then we go to comparative method. What about this? You're just going to compare. Okay? From the word itself, compare. Understand compare? Okay. I'd like to compare this group from this group. Okay? This group has only one gentleman. This group has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 gentlemen. Most of the students in this group are ladies. I'm comparing. Okay, the same way with this. In political science, we can also use comparative method. What do you do in comparative method? You try to investigate by selecting, you select, you compare, and you eliminate. What do you mean eliminate? Eliminate? Cut? Remove? Right? Okay. To discover types and progressive courses of political history. So, what do you do here? You try to compare by using the different periods of history. What's the purpose? In order to attempt to reach conclusion by tracing similar results to similar causes in order to arrive at a certain conclusion. Okay? For example, you're trying to compare the government of Prime Minister Apiset with Prime Minister, the now Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. Okay? So you can use this method. Do you know Mr. Apiset, the former Prime Minister? Of course, right? You can use comparative method, right? You're trying to compare the different types of what different projects did they do in order to improve the government. Okay? I'm not asking you to choose which is better, but we're just trying to compare. We call it comparative method. Okay? Understand? Okay. Okay, according to the well-known author, you have to be very careful. Be careful in using this method. Okay? This method has been employed since the very beginning by Plato. I told you already who is Plato, right? He made use of this method in forming his view of democracy from his observation of Athenian civil life. But that was long time ago. That was long time ago, 2500 BC. We don't even have any idea if we will get into this classroom, right? So that was long time ago. Maybe the situations long time ago cannot be applied right now. It's very different. So you must be very careful. You must be very careful, and utmost care must be used in using this method. Okay? And also Aristotle. Aristotle also used this method. This method, along with historical method, is often used. What do you mean often used? Often. We always use, right? We always use historical and comparative method. So, if I ask in the test, Mr. Angkan, which is most openly used method in political science? What's the answer? Which are the most openly used political methods in the study of the methods in political science? What? Right? Historical and comparative. Okay, look at this. This method, along with historical method, is often used. So, Historical method and comparative method, they are often used. Okay, we go to this analytical method. For the study of political science, you can also use analytical method. What do you mean by this? You're going to study certain political problems in detail. Like that, in detail. What do you mean in detail? You have to dissect it part by part, piece by piece. You have to study it not only superficially, but you have to study it in detail. Understand? Look at this. It dissects political institution into its different parts and makes detailed study of each showing their interrelation. Example, study the government of Thailand. It will take a very long time for you if you will do that. Okay? Government of Thailand. Try to go first to the executive branch. Who is the head of the executive branch? Huh? Who is the head of the executive branch? Okay. It is divided into three. You have executive. Who heads the executive branch? Who? You have your prime minister. Okay? You have your prime ministers. And under prime ministers, there are many government agencies. Okay? There are many government agencies under it. So what I'm trying to tell you class is in political science, analytical method, you study part by part. You study it piece by piece. You dissect it. Okay? Understand? What do you mean part by part? You're going to study in detail. Okay? You're going to study in detail. In detail. What do you mean in detail? Dream. What do you mean in detail? You dissect, you study part by part. You study each part. You study each, not the big whole, but you're studying part by part. You understand? Okay. Government of Thailand. Okay? And you have your prime minister. Who helps the prime minister to run the government of Thailand? There are still many people under her. Right? So when you use analytical method, you study it in detail. All the parts. Okay? You study in detail, you study all the parts. Okay? So that's why we said that you dissect political institution. Okay? Okay? Is there a time? Any question? Understand? Do you understand? Okay, what about this? Psychological method. What about this? It looks into the fashion that have brought about political movements, actions, or other phenomena of politics. It just simply describes to you the reason behind actions or behavior. Into some other people, right? But who won? Who won the election? Prime Minister said? Who? Who won? No. Election. Election last year. Isn't it? Do you remember the election? Not last year. Several years ago. Okay? So you have the election, and it was Prime Minister Abiset was the old Prime Minister. And then you have Prime Minister Eugenia, right? Analytic psychological method class means that you study the reason. Why do you think Eugenia won as Prime Minister? And why not other candidates? Understand? You have many candidates, right? Prime Minister, we said, one general, I forgot the name of one general. And so, yes, very good. General Smith, right? Yes. Okay. So, but who won? Who won the election? It's Eugenia won. So you use psychological method when you ask, why do you think? You study the election result. Why do you think Eugenia won? Understand? Okay, so what, very good. What method will you use in order to study the reason behind the actions or behavior of the people? You will use psychological method in order to know the reason behind their action. See, right? She said her observation is that because she's very helpful to the people. She's giving money to the people. Okay? Let's put it that way. Okay? She said like that. Okay? The reason behind. So maybe helping other people. Okay? Understand? Yeah. Okay. So we call that psychological method. Okay? Next. Juridical method. It treats society not as social phenomenon but as a purely juridical regime, an ensemble of public law, rights, and obligation founded on a system of pure logic and reason. Juridical method class, it's more on studying the relationship between the government and private individuals. Who are the private individuals, class? Who are the private individuals? You are the private individuals. And we have government officials. Understand? Government officials. Who are the government officials? Who are the government officials? Huh? Who are the government officials? We have those people in the government. Prime Minister, your Prime Minister is a government official, right? Means the minister of different ministry, they are called also government officials. Okay, those people who help in the day-to-day running of the government, we call them government officials. And you are private individuals. Understand? Private individuals. You are called private individuals. Okay? So, juridical method is more on the study of the relationship between the government officials and the private individuals. Class, I have a question. Which government office do you have to go every time? When you want to go
go? Where will you go? Yeah, to get a license, isn't it? Government officials will help you process your license, right? Are they nice to you? Are they nice to you? Are they nice to you? That, oh no, you can do this, I'm helping you. Are they nice? Tell me the truth. Are they nice? Every time? No. Okay. Can you demand from them that, hey, you should be nice to us? The people are the one paying you. Do you know that? In Thailand, you're very polite, right? You would say, ha, 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 ha. And then you're very soft spoken, right? But sometimes we have to tell them, you have the right to say, you have the right to ask and demand for good service. The people are the one paying these government officials. Your parents are paying taxes, right? And those government officials are receiving salary every month. And where do they get their salary? From the taxes that you pay. When you get a job, you will pay your taxes too soon. Okay, tax? Okay. Okay. And then we have the
philosophic or ideal method. The political thinker builds up his ideal of political institution, methods, or practices. So it sets up in an imaginative way what should be or what is ought to be. The goal should be determined represents his philosophy of administration. This one clause, the philosophic and ideal method, could be seen very clearly in Plato's work. The title of his work is The Republic. Take note of this. It sets up in an imaginative way what should be or ought to be. Okay? And then we have, is it the last one? Yes, it is the last one. Sociological and biological method. Students of political science who use sociological method consider the state. You consider the state. A state or the country. Okay? Understand? Okay, state or the country. Okay, if I ask you, give me an example of a state. Give me an example of a state. Huh? Give me an example of state. Jijira. Myanmar. Okay, what do you think about Myanmar? Kan? Cambodia. No. Okay. Nearby countries. You can easily remember nearby countries. Okay, so you consider the state as a social organism composed of individuals. From the attribute of individuals thereof, they infer the attributes of the state.
class. Sociological and biological method. You Okay, we can use sociological and biological method, and you compare the state to an individual. The attributes of an individual is similar attributes of the state also. Give me an example of state. Give me an example of state. Thailand. Okay, Thailand. I like Thailand. We are in Thailand. Okay? Give me example of individual person. Give me an example of individual person. I like Mr. Angkan because Mr. Angkan had a very good
Any question? Any question from this group? Mr. Krakow, any question? No? No. Okay, let's continue. Let's compare political science with other social sciences. Okay? History, economics, geography, sociology. What's your name? What's your name? 15 minutes late is already absent. Okay? Now what's your name? Again? Anyway, you guys can join the class, but you are absent already. Okay? Sociology, psychology, ethics, law. Okay. These, I told you, political science is one of the social sciences. And these are other social sciences as related to political science. Are they all related? Yes. Okay? Let's discuss one by one. Political science and history. I told you already, right? If you will study political science and history, it is like a tree without roots. Right? So, in order to study political science better, you have to know history. These two, political science and history, is inseparable. You cannot separate it. Otherwise, the tree will die. How die? Understand? Okay. Political science, look. Political science without history is hollow and baseless. Or to put it in a rhyme, according to Professor Selly, history without political science has no fruit. And political science without history has no root. Understand? So, if this is a tree, are fruits. Is this an apple or a what? Okay. Now color. So, roots. Okay? According to this comparing to political science, if the root is history and the fruit is political science, will there be a fruit without history? Will there be fruits without history? No. The tree will not grow up. If no roots, the tree will not grow up. Isn't it? Okay, so it is needed. And roots, without this, without political science, there is no fruit. Okay, so I told you history and political science should go hand in hand. Okay? Political science and economics. What about this? This is very just like political science and history. Okay, do you remember class what happened to Thailand when we have a lot of issue in politics about the red shirt and the yellow shirt? Okay, and then what color the yellow shirts went to the airport, right? They occupied the building. So you just like close the door to any international relation. Why? No one can come to Thailand, right? Because, so what happened? I heard that some Japanese restaurant, they have to close operation because they're getting their fresh fish, fresh vegetables, and all fresh from Japan. And they have to transfer it to Thailand like political science without a background of economics is unprepared to render the best service to the country in the solution of its economic problems. Okay? And then we go to political science and sociology. What do you mean sociology? Sociology is the study of society viewed as an aggregate of individuals. The whole society. What do you mean society? The whole society. Aggregate of individuals. The group of individuals. Who are those individuals? The people. Right? The people in Thailand. Okay? Political science. With the political aspects of particular portion of society, it is viewed as an organized unit. And sociology is this fundamental social science of which political science is just an integral part.
I told you, political science, there is a big, this is the society of Thailand. An important part of it is political science. Only one part. It's a big circle. We call it society. An important part of it is political science. So, sociology, one of its integral. When you say integral, that means important. Very important part of sociology. This one, integral, very important. Okay, not only important, very important. Okay. Okay. What about
Law. Understand law? Understand law? Okay. Do you need law in Thailand? No. Do you need it? Yes. If there is no law, what will happen? People will do whatever they want. They can steal, they can kill, they can, isn't it? Okay. So law is defined as a rule of external conduct of action which is prescribed or formally recognized as binding and shall be enforced with sanction or penalty. Isn't it? When someone when you go out, when you go to the city, you're driving your motorcycle and you don't have a helmet, and the police see you, what will you do? The police will give you a ticket. There is a ticket, right? And you have to pay 200. Paying 200, we call that a sanction, a penalty. Okay? If you steal something, you have to pay it back and you have to go to jail or prison. Don't you like prison? Understand? Okay. So, what about political science? It is a study of the state with all its institutions, when you study political science, you study all institutions, which law? This law that we're talking about is a part of. So therefore, the study of law and government are inseparable. We cannot. Inseparable means we cannot separate. We cannot separate. They are always together. Okay? When you study it, you will study it together. Political science and psychology. Okay. What about psychology? Narumon. People at the back, are you still okay? Psychology has been rendering very important help or invaluable aid to the government in the management of the affairs of the state. Psychology, understanding the reason behind why the mob in Bangkok put to fire Central World. Do you remember? Central World. There is a mob, a group of mob who put it into fire, set it on fire. Do you remember? Do you remember? Okay, so what's the reason behind? Psychology is now providing invaluable help always to the government. And political science and philosophy and ethics. This one is very important. Government should actually class this ethics not only in business. It should be studied not only in business, but more so in the government. They said that the first group of people who should study ethics should be the people in the government. Agree? Agree or disagree? The first people who should study about ethics are those in the government. Okay? Okay. I totally agree to that. And then we have this. Political science and geography and statistics. How come geography is here? Is it also related to political science? Yes. And statistics also. This is also another part of social science. Look, geography. I like geography. It is describe and explain the relation between man and his natural environment.
What is your geography? Could you explain the geography in Thailand? Geography of Thailand. Chiang Rai is mountainous, isn't it? Mountains. Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, northern part is mountainous. On the eastern part borders Vietnam, isn't it? Vietnam. On the northern part borders Myanmar, Chiang Rai. Lower northern part, Cambodia and Laos, isn't it? In the southern part, you have your maritime part because you have the sea, isn't it? It's maritime. Okay, that's your geography. Is it also related to political science? Yes, it is. Example, your relation with Myanmar. Okay. Did you read the news? The president of Myanmar wants to go to first visit after long time ago. He choose to come to visit Thailand. Did you read that? After a long time ago. But what happened? Aung Suu Kyi. Okay. Instead, she came first than the president. So what happened? The president canceled my outfit. Because yes, they are opposition. They are opposition against each other. Isn't it? They are against each other. The president of Myanmar said something that he's tied up with his personal things in Myanmar, but we don't know really what's the reason. I hope that it will not affect the relation of Thailand with Myanmar. Okay? Okay. And what about statistics? Statistics is useful with as much mathematical exactitude as possible the significance of certain political phenomena. Okay? In some studies too, you can use statistics. It influences the life of nations, and political scientists want to make an exact study. If they want to make an exact figure, of course, they will use statistics.
understand the statistics? You studied this in high school? Okay. Any question?
So what did we study? Political science related to other fields. What are those fields again? Could you repeat? Political science and what are those social sciences? Political science and history. Political science and economics. Thank you, Dre. Political science and psychology. Political science and law. Political science and psychology. Political science and geography. Political science and law. Okay. Political science and statistics, right? Okay. Remember those. Okay. Please remember those. Okay. What about the goals and uses of political science? What are the goals? Number one goal of political science is education of number one goal of political science is education of citizens. Who are the citizens? Very good, Mr. Afan. The people. Do you need to know what's going on in your government? You need to know what's going on in your government. Of course, yes. You have to know what's going on. You don't know that there's a war already. Okay? Okay, so everything you have to be abreast. You have to know the current events, what's going on with your government. So, education of citizens. What else? You will know how government you will understand and you will know how government operates. Okay? How government operates. Maybe you don't even know how the law is passed. How come you have this law? How come that you have friendly relation with other country? Right? How come that you have this curriculum from the Commission on Higher Education? So how the government operates, you will also understand in political science. And another goal is the forces behind policies. You will also know the forces behind policies made. Okay. Education of citizens, know how government operates, and forces behind policies made.
Okay. Policies made. So these are all about Unit 1 or Chapter 1. We discussed what political science is, right? And we discussed the different methods in the study of political science. Could you name again what are those methods? Could you name again the different method? Historical. What else? Again? Historical method. What else?
No, it's social science.
Comparative method. What else? Analytical method. Are you listening? What else? Psychological. What else? Juridical. What else? Again? Philosophical and biological method. What else? Sociological method. Okay? And we discussed also how political science is related to other fields in social science. Okay? So, economics, law, history, psychology, geography, statistics. Okay? Are there any questions? No. Okay. Okay, so I'll give you 15 minutes break. And then we go to the next chapter. Okay? We will have a quiz for next week. Your first quiz. Okay? Chapter 1 and the next chapter. I'm not sure if we're going to finish the next chapter, but let's see. Okay? Let's have a break. 15 minutes. Where are your other friends? We're now going to begin with chapter 2. So chapter 2, the title is State, right? The title is State. Just please don't be confused. State is synonymous to country. Okay? A state is a country. Okay? So give me example of state. Give me example. Thailand. Vietnam. England. The United States of America, Italy, Singapore, France, even already, again, Australia, Denmark, Spain, Norway, China, New Zealand, Germany, again, Korea, North or South, Latvia, Brunei, Japan, Kuwait, the Philippines, Laos, again, Greece, given already, the Netherlands, again, given already, Russia, Switzerland, given already, Italy, that's part of England, again, Belgium, Germany, given already, Egypt, given already, Brazil. Okay, so what you said plus are examples of state or examples of country. Why do you think they are called state? So let's try to find out what is the definition of state. Look at this, okay? A state is community of persons. Look at this. Community of persons. Can I? Really? Let me change the font. Okay. So, a state is defined as community of we are videotaping it, so we better turn it. Okay. It's a community of persons. What are my persons? People. Okay? Persons more or less numerous. Please take note of the word persons. It's a community of persons more or less numerous? It's in your book. It's on the first page. Yes. Now, you open it. It's there. Oh, see? Because you are not reading. It's a community of persons more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory. Understand territory? Understand territory? Independent of external control. Okay. Portion of territory independent of external control and possessing a government. Possessing a government to which the great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. Okay. Take note of this. Persons or people. People, territory, government, and obedience. Okay? This is the definition of a state. A state is a community of people, more or less numerous, occupying a definite portion of territory, independent of external control, and possessing a government to which a great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. From the definition, we arrive at essential elements of states. I want you to remember these 4 essential elements. You know, when I was studying, even when I am sleeping, and someone will ask this about me in my dream, I can say it, I can answer it. How do I? I'm sleeping and I'm dreaming, and someone asks this in my dream, I can answer. What are the essential elements of the state? People, territory, government, sovereignty. I can answer it. So, look at this. Number 1. Essential elements, people. Okay? Number 2, essential elements, territory. Okay? And number 4 element, government. And the last one is sovereignty. Again, this sovereignty. Okay, so these are the 4 essential elements of state. People, territory, government, and sovereignty. Okay, let's have Thailand as an example. Okay, do I have a map? Okay. I'm going to draw. Look at this. I'm going to draw the map of Thailand. Okay? Okay, and you have here water, right? Andaman Sea. You have here Koh Samui.
This is Thailand. Okay? This is Thailand. And Thailand is a state. Isn't it? Thailand is a state. Does Thailand has people? Who are the people? You. Okay? Thailand has people? Check. Okay? What about territory? Which is the territory of Thailand? This is the territory of Thailand. The land, the water, tonight, it belongs to Thailand. It belongs to you. Can Myanmar just get in here and say Chiang Rai belongs to us? No, because this is your territory. Understand? This is your land territory. Land territory. This is your sea territory. Understand? Understand territory? Okay. And so check. You have territory. And government. Do you have government? Yes. Leadership of Prime Minister Shinawatra. Okay. And do you have sovereignty? After my sovereignty or independence? Do you have sovereignty or independence? Meaning, Thailand can exist on its own. Another country like Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, or any other country cannot just get into Thailand and claim this is our country. No, because you are independent country. Because you have sovereignty, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. So what are? So I need to check. People, Thailand, yes. Territory, yes. Government, yes. Sovereignty, yes. Okay. What are the 4 elements of Thailand? It's 4 elements of the state. Can you tell me again? Never mind. What are the 4 elements? People. Louder. Again? Again. What else? Hurry up. I want people, territory, government, sovereignty. Okay? What are the elements of the state? We want you to start with government. What are the elements of state? Read. What else? All. 4 elements of the state. What are the 4 elements of the state? What else? What else? Government. Okay, you. What are the 4 elements of the state? Very good. What are the 4 elements of the state? Sovereignty or independence. 4 elements of the state. Very good. What are the 4 elements of the state? Okay, you have to remember that we have a quiz tomorrow. I mentioned tomorrow. Next week. When I say tomorrow, that means next meeting. Okay, so we have a quiz next meeting.
So understand the state class. Listen to me. All these elements must be present in order to be called a state. There must be people, there must be territory, there must be government, there must be sovereignty. If one is missing, listen, if one is missing, no sovereignty. Is it a state? Yes or no? No. If no government, is it a state? No. If no territory, of course it's not a state. So all of these 4 poor must always be present. Understand? If one is missing, it's not a state. We had a check about the elements of Thailand. People? Yes. Government? Yes. Territory? Yes. Sovereignty or independence? Yes. Thailand is a state. Okay? All the core elements are present. Okay. What about the people? I have a question. How many people are needed? How many people are needed? How many people in Thailand now? 68 million. Around 68 million. I think that was 2011. Some more babies were born, so we don't know, okay? So around 68 million Thai, okay? How many people are needed? Can a state have too small or too large a population? China has latest census 1.3 billion. My Chinese students told me there are some who are not registered, so those living in the countryside. So probably 1.5 billion people. So in China, around 1.5 billion. Thailand has 68 million. So how many people are needed? Should it be too small or too large a population? What do you think? How many people are needed? Come on, answer me. You need a lot? How many people are needed? Narumon, tell me. In order, because we said a state should have people, territory, government, sovereignty. My question now is, how many people are needed? 68 million? 1.5 billion? 1.2 billion? Like 100 million? So you mean Thailand is not a state yet because you are only 68 million. You said 100 million. Yeah, how many? 3 million. You said 3 million? Okay, thank you, Dream. How many? I want to hear your opinion. How many people are needed? 2,000 million. Now, but Thailand is only 68 million, so Thailand is not a state. But we said Thailand is a state, right? What do you think? How many? 10. Okay. This guy here, what's your name? Virajit said 10,000, 10 million above. Okay. He said 10 million above. Dream said 3 million above. Okay. What's your answer? 4. Okay. He said 10 million above. 3 million above. She said 40 million above. What do you think? No people? What do you think? How many? 3 million? How many people are needed? Okay. So, look at this. What is this? They are the people in Thailand. Okay? You remember them? The yellow shirt, mine. My son, no. That time, no yellow and red. Look, I mean red and yellow together. Okay? So, there was no color discrimination that time. But I just show you that these are the people people. Someone said 10 million above, 3 million above, 40 million above. Someone said 2 people. Okay. Can it be? Okay, class. What is the smallest country in the world? What is the smallest independent country in the world? Tell me.
What? The smallest country in the world. Very good. Vatican City. Okay. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. How many people are there in Vatican City? How many? Wait. There are about only 1,000 plus people. Around 1,000 people in Vatican. But
Vatican is a state. So, Thailand has 68 million and it is a state. China has 1.5 billion and it is a state. Vatican City has only around 1,000 people and it is a state. So how many people are needed? How many people are needed? This is the answer. This is the answer. It must be sufficient to maintain its international obligation. The answer is no number required. No number required. It's not a requirement that there must be 10 million above. No. It is not a requirement that there must be 3 million above, that there must be 40 million people above. No. The answer is the number must be sufficient. Sufficient or enough. Enough. Understand? Enough? Must be sufficient or enough to maintain its international obligation. Community of person which must be more or less numerous. So, need no die. A lot die. It's okay. 2 people, I don't think so. 2 people, no, because must be enough. 2 people is not enough. Okay? Sufficient to maintain its international obligation.
so, when I ask you in the quiz, how many people are needed? What's your answer? Sufficient to maintain obligation. Very good. So your answer will be no number is required. It must be sufficient to maintain its international obligation. Understand now? So Vatican City, which has only 1,000, and Thailand, which has 68 million, China, which has 1.5.
Whether you have less or you have more population, it doesn't matter. You are still considered as a state as long as you have the 4 elements: people, territory, government, sovereignty. Okay. We go to the, characteristics of the people. Characteristics of the people. So, we have the so-called homogeneity or heterogeneous society. What do you mean homogeneous? Thailand is considered to be, the population in Thailand is considered to be homogeneous. Like, unlike other country, like, for example, the Philippines. The Philippines has been colonized by Spain for 333 years. By the United States for about 5 years. By Japan for about 2 years. But Thailand, no country ever colonized. So you have homogeneous society. Homogeneous, the same. The same, kuntay, right? Similar, very good. Similar, okay. Ani, heterogeneous, that's the opposite. Okay, not similar. But your population, homogeneous, is similar. Okay? Nationalism, patriotic feeling on behalf of one's country. This is your love for your country. Do you love your country, Thailand? I cannot hear you. Do you love your country?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay. Basic ingredients for what you call nationalism. Common language. Do you have the same language? Do you have?
Yes.
What language do you speak?
Thai.
But now you can say you speak Thai and
English.
very good. You must be very confident. I speak Thai and English. Okay? And common religion. 95% of religion in Thailand. Most of you here are Buddhists. Okay, Buddhism, right? 95%. A little percent of Christian, a little percent of Muslims in the south, right? Okay. Common historical tradition. Same history, right? Historical tradition. Way back, Ayutthaya period, Sukhothai period, tonight, the same. Common customs and habit. This is very important. Could you share to me? Maybe I don't know most of your customs and habit, but for my 6 years stay in Thailand, I know some of your common customs and habit. Could you share it? What are they? Could you give an example? Eating rice? Yes. What else? How do you greet people? What you use? How do you call it? Why? Okay. What else? What other customs do you have? You cannot be higher than your parents or older than you. If your parents is sitting, where will you sit? On the floor, right? If you are taller than your parents, when your parents is standing, you have to kneel, right? Understand? What else? A lot. Yeah. Smile. Yes. That's your trademark. That's your trademark. But just don't do it in my class that if you don't understand, you just smile. Okay? Do you understand, class? Okay. You're just giving me a very beautiful smile. What can I do? If you give me your beautiful smile, I just smile back to you. Okay? So, yes, your trademark. That's why your country is called as the land of smile. What else? Yes. Koton. Okay. Okay, customs, habits. What else? Customs and habits. When you go enter the house, what do you have to do? You remove shoes and slippers, right? You remove shoes and slippers and you left it. We are international college, so you don't need to remove your shoes, right? I know when you were in high school and in other university, they removed their shoes. They removed their slippers. Yeah, he removed his shoes because he is tired. He just wants to relax, okay? What else? What else? Wait, Thai? Are you Thai? Maybe I'm more Thai than you are. Okay? Tambon. What is Tambon? A district? And what do? You pay merits? Every morning, you will see people lying on the street waiting for the monks to come, and you want to have a good day or a good luck, so you make marriage. Right? Okay. What else? A lot. Again. Come on. What's that? I don't know about that. I've been here for 6 years, but I never heard about that. What else? When someone gets married, the man, for example, you're going to marry her, so you're going to give her dowry, money, gold, jewelry, right? Okay. What else? Sopran Festival. You celebrate, you're very well known for Sopran Festival. What do you do in Sopran? Drink. You celebrate Sopran for three days by throwing garbage. Throwing what? Throwing water. Okay. Okay, Loy Krathong Festival. Why do you celebrate Loy Krathong Festival? To what? To say sorry? To say sorry? Yes, you're giving me the correct answer. She's giving me so many answers. To say sorry to the river. Why? Because you're damaging the river, you're throwing garbage. But, you know what? Like, during Loy Krathong Festival, I noticed they will make a very big krathong made of styrofoam and leaves, and then you let it to the river. You don't know that's garbage because, you put the flowers and the candles to the river. Where will it go? In the river. You say sorry to the river, but you make it more dirty. Isn't it? And some people, they forgot to remove the styrofoam. They built a very big krathong and with styrofoam, and that is non-biodegradable. It will not melt. The leaves will melt now, but styrofoam might die. So it will be in the river for a long time. You just put more trash in the river. So don't say sorry. It's not sorry, I think. That's only my opinion, okay? What else? Ordain? Ordain? Yes. You shave the hair. Shave. Have you experienced that, Mr. Angkan? Did you shave the hair and did you go to the temple and you wear the orange robe and you are a monk? Did you? How many days? 1 month? Were you a very good boy that time? What about you? Never. And I know also, I heard if someone passed away, someone died in the family, sometimes they shave the hair, right? Why? Why do you shave the hair? Thank you. Thank you that someone passed away. Hi, someone passed away. Okay, what else? Okay. Understand. Your house, most of the houses in Thailand is built, you have a very, very high foundation. And the house is there, up there. Why is it like that? You have a cellar. Why? Yes. to secure the family in times of flooding. Right? When floods come, so you are safe. Why? Because you are on top. Right? Okay, you can take care of your belongings. what else? Yeah, people at the back? What about the timing? What about the timing? Cremate. Okay. Cremation. When someone died, you have to go to the temple and you have to burn, literally, to burn the dead bodies. Amen? Okay, and then you cry, right? Okay, but that's part of tradition. In some country, like my country, very few people cremate. We just bring them to cemetery to bury the dead. We call it tomb. So we put them under the ground, 6 feet under the ground. Just keep that there for a certain period of time. Okay? In Thailand, no, you cremate, right? What else? What else? You again? Okay, so I think that's it. So, characteristics of homogeneous society: Nina, common language, common religion, common historical tradition, and common customs and habits. Common customs and habits, this is considered to be the most important. Okay? Okay. Understand how many people are needed? How many people are needed? It must be sufficient to maintain its international obligation. Okay, very good. Territory. Question. Which is considered to be the physical basis of the state. How much? How big is the territory necessary for the maintenance of the state? How big should be the territory? You know, do you know the Vatican City? Maybe the Reservoir University is bigger. The Reservoir University is bigger than Vatican City. Understand? But Vatican City is a state. Understand? So, and look at Thailand. This is Thailand. Maybe in the map, Vatican City is only a dot. Only a dot. But Thailand is this, a lot bigger. 100 times bigger. More than 100 times bigger. Understand? So, how much territory is necessary? How big? Can you tell me? Akhan, how big? What do you mean no? Very big? And look at Vatican City, very small. But it is a state. So how big? Natawud, how big? Huh? Nidnoy is okay? So, this is the answer. Look at this. This is Thailand. Ah, same. The same, right? The same. So, this is the northern, central, eastern, northeastern, southern part of Thailand. Iniนะคะ territory ขอช้างขอคุณ okay ประจวบคีรีขันธ์ here ขอพังงานขอสมุย okay all of this included Gulf of Thailand in territory. Sea also included. Somewhere here, the boundary is here, okay, out here, here. So maybe this is not all because this is Andaman Sea. Up there is Myanmar. Okay, that is your territory. So how big should be the territory? And this is the map of Thailand. And this is my example. This is the Vatican. Only this. This is only the size. This is only the size. Can you see it? Alone, like very small. This is a wall. How do you find wall? Wall. And this is a church. St. Peter's Square, St. Peter's Basilica. This is the church. This is a garden. The Pope's garden, the Papal garden. And this is Rome. Actually, this is in Rome. Rome. Part of Rome. Okay? Vatican City. But, look, it's very small, right? But it is a state. Right? Understand? So how much territory is needed? How much territory need? This is, have a closer look. People get in. This is the basilica. I want to visit that. I want to go there. I don't know when. If I have nothing to do tomorrow, so I'll go. Okay? Okay, Nina, some information about Vatican City. Located in southern Europe, an enclave of Rome in Italy. The people, how do you call your people? You call yourself Thai, right? Citizen. They call Holy See. Vatican. Population, this was July 2005. Estimated 921 people. Around 1,000. No? So there are more people in the faculty of EduIC than in here. Government, we call Holy See. And government type, ecclesiastical. This is considered to be the world's smallest state. Okay? This is the world's smallest state. Only 0.2 square miles. 0.2 square miles. Really small. Okay? So going back. You writing it down? Okay. I want to finish because we have a quiz next week. Chapter 1 and chapter 2. And depends on until we stop. Okay? Do you understand? Understand? Homework for next week. You have to finish reading it. I will check your book next week. And also please read chapter 3. Finish, this is your homework. Finish reading chapter 2 and chapter 3. Okay? Read chapter 2, chapter 3. I'm going to check it next week. And we have a quiz. Chapter 1 and 2 until we finish the part that we were going to finish. Okay? Until what we're going. Okay. Another very small country. Another very small country is Monaco. This is very small too. Have you heard about this country? Near France. Okay? Near France. Monaco. Monaco. Okay, people. Monaco. Population. 32,409. It's too little, right? Maybe only the same population as the rest of one university. because we have here like maybe more than 30,000. Location is in Western Europe, bordering the Mediterranean Sea and the southern coast of France, near the border with Italy. The government type is constitutional monarchy, the same as Thailand. They have king and queen. That's why you call it constitutional monarchy. So its size is about 0.7 square miles. Okay, that's Monaco.
You're giving me time to rest, okay? While you are discussing.
Actually, I'm going to give you the PowerPoint before midterms. But the reason why you have a book, because I want you to read. The things that I wrote in the PowerPoint is not complete. It's only the summary. That's why you have to read more. Read more from your book. Okay? Okay, finish?
Cha-cha is slow. Right? Cha-cha. Are you tired? Are you hungry? Yes. You asked me, am I hungry? Yes. I'm hungry too. So wait. Few minutes. Okay.
What about this? Nauru. Nauru. This is also very small country. Map of Nauru, the smallest republic in the world. This is very small. And you know what, class? People in Nauru used to be very rich. They are very rich people. Why? Because their land is composed of certain kind of minerals. They call it phosphate. And they sell it and export to other parts of the world. So they got a lot of money. But now, not left. It runs out. No more. So they're having a hard time now. Okay? So because the minerals, which is the main source of their income, ran out already. No more. Okay? So this is this one. Phosphate stockpile. Nauru, South Pacific Ocean. Okay? This is also very small country. Only one airport. Nauru International Airport. But at least they have airport. Okay? It is, could you please say class? Nauru. Okay. It is the world's smallest island nation. It's an island. Okay? The smallest independent republic and the only republic in the world without an official capital. They don't have a capital. Like Thailand, the capital is Bangkok. They don't have capital. Okay? It is considered to be the smallest island nation, the smallest independent republic, and the only republic in the world without official capital. That is Nauru. This country also is very small. Very, very small. But it is considered as a state It is considered as a state. The territory is small. The population too is too little. Finish? Location. Nauru is in Oceania, island in the South Pacific Ocean, south of Marshall Island. Actually, Marshall Islands is a group of islands which is also considered as a small state. People, we call them Nauru. The meaning of this is pleasant island. Okay. Population, look. As of this time, 13,000. Only 13,048. Government type, but they are republic. Okay? And independent. Okay? Economy. Revenues of this tiny, very small, tiny island have traditionally came from exports of phosphate. This is what I'm telling you. This is a special kind of mineral which they sell outside the country. But reserves now depleted. No more. The reserves now depleted, so they're having a hard time now. Okay, and then it's about 8.5 square miles. 8.5 square miles. It's still very small compared to Thailand. Okay. Okay. Finish? Why you're so slow in writing? Okay? Okay. If you want to know what territory includes, what does the territory of the state consist of? All land and water within. Okay?
You see my map? This is the land, right? All land, all the water. Sometimes here there is a river, right? Like your famous river, Chao Phraya River. It's also included. All land and water within its external boundaries, including
All lakes and rivers that are entirely within the boundaries. And when these lakes, rivers are boundaries, also a portion up to the main channel. Like for example, between Thailand and Laos, when you cross, there is a river, right? So who owns the river?
who owns the river. Example, somewhere here, there is a river. This is this is Laos. There is a river. You have to cross a bridge, right? So who owns the river? Who owns the river? So a part of it, one part on the side of Laos belongs to Laos. The part on the side of Thailand belongs to Thailand. Okay, so just like 50-50. Okay? Understand? Okay.
They will share ownership. They will share ownership over the river. And when these lakes and rivers are boundaries, also portion. When you say portion, that means a part of. Portion to the mid channel at the middle. You have to cut it at the middle. Okay? The sea, right? What's the famous sea you have? Andaman Sea. Do you have Krabi Sea? Maybe. Okay. Narrow bays and estuaries. That's also included. And that indents its coast and narrow straits, both of whose shores are in its territories. And in Thailand, only the southern part is maritime. Upper part is landlocked. Why is it landlocked? Nearby territories, you don't have any sea between you, right? Only some, like Myanmar and Thailand, mountain, right? It's only a mountain. Okay, and then islets. What about islets? Small islands. Okay, islets are small islands. Okay, framing its coast. In Pattaya, there is a small island. How do you call it? When you go to Pattaya, there is a small island. You call islets. Islets. Okay, islands. Okay. What in Pattaya? Again? Kolan. Okay. Have you heard about that? Have you been there? Oh, she said yes. I never been there. Okay. This one is okay. Okay, some examples, class. Okay, how much territory is needed? Go back to my question. How much territory is needed? I showed to you Thailand, quite big territory. Nauru, very small. Monaco, very small. Vatican City, very small territory also. So, do we need a size? No size required, okay? This is the answer. Territory must be sufficient. What do you mean sufficient? Enough, okay? Enough to maintain its population. To keep and maintain its population. What's the population? The people, right? population and enable it to meet the needs of international life. That is the answer. No size required. You don't say as big as China, as big as the United States, as big as Thailand. No. Okay? The answer? Territory must be sufficient to maintain its population and enable it to meet the needs of international life. Understand? Okay? You will see that in my quiz. You will see that I will ask those questions. So you have to remember. Oh, we are only done with 2 people. How many elements? 4, right? People, territory, government, sovereignty. Down 2. We still have 2 more. Okay? Government. Are you there? It's in your book. You have to read your book. Everything is in your book, class. Everything is in your book. You just have to read your book. Okay. Let's talk about the government. The next one, in order for the state to exist, there must be a government. What is a government? A government is an aggregate of authorities which rule society. What do you mean aggregate? A collection. It's a collection, a group. A group of authorities which rule society. It usually consists of 3 branches. Do you have government in Thailand? Yes or no? Yes. And Thailand? It's divided into 3. These are we call branches. We have legislative. We have executive. And we have the judicial. Or the judiciary. Okay. Legislative, executive, judicial. Legislative, what is its duty? Make laws. Understand? It make laws. What about executive? Implement laws. What about judicial? Interpret laws. Understand? These are the 3 branches of government. Okay. Legislative, make laws. Executive, implement laws. And judicial, interpret laws. You understand? Make laws. They make the law. They make the law. What about this one? Executive. They put into action. They implement. They put into effect. They put into effect the laws. And judicial, they interpret the laws. Okay. Yeah. One is missing. Aggregate of authorities which rule society. Oh, I forgot to change the photo. Okay. This represents the government. Okay. Represents the government. 3 branches. This is the executive. Executive. This is the legislative. This is more of executive too, representing the executive. This is an example of annual tradition lawmakers in the Missouri House of Representatives. They toss papers into the air after the final gavel of legislative session. In Thailand now, they are reading there is a special kind of law that they want to pass, and it's under reading. Who do it? The legislative. Okay? The legislative branch. The Prime Minister, I should put the picture of Ms. Yingluck Shinawatra, represents the executive. Executive.
In the executive branch, you have the Prime Minister as the head of the government. Okay? The head of the government, Prime Minister. Here, you have senators. How the senators? Look up in your dictionary. And you have congressmen. And you have here justices, judges. Okay? Justices and judges.
That's the government. Okay? Is state and government the same? Mankanay? The state and government, are they the same? Very good. Okay. State and government is not the same. Why?
Look, I told you. What are the essential elements of the state? People, territory, government, and sovereignty. So state and government is not the same because government is only an essential element of the state. Out of 4, tonight, people, territory, government, sovereignty. Government is only
An essential element of the state. So they are not the same. And also, there cannot be a state without a government, but there can be a government without there being a state. I told you, all the 4 elements must be present. People, territory, government, sovereignty. All the 4. Understand? If one is missing, I die. But you can say there is a government, but there is no state. That's the difference. Okay? And then number 3. A state possesses the quality of permanence. What do you mean permanence? Permanent. Okay? Perpetuity. While a government may come and go. Last time, you have Prime Minister Abiset. How's that? You have Prime Minister Abiset. And then he's done. And then another government now. What is your government now? Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. After Yingluck Shinawatra, you don't know who will be the next. Right? That means the state. But even though Prime Minister Abiset went already, Thailand changed? No. Thailand is still Thailand. Right? Government come and go, but the state remains the same. Understand? You get my point? Look, Prime Minister changed, the government changed, because you have Prime Minister Abiset and then changed to Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. But Thailand is still the same. The state is still the same, isn't it? But the government can come and go. After Yingluck Shinawatra, you don't know who will be the next. Right? Okay.
so.
While government may come and go, leaving the state to continue unimpaired and unaffected. Okay? Okay. The government of the state may be overthrown and another government set up, but the state remains with the same personality. Let me remind you. Do you remember during the time of Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, right? Do you remember? There was a coup d'etat and then the Prime Minister left the country and went somewhere. And then they have to put up another government. That means government of Prime Minister Takshin Shinawatra was overthrown, right? Yes, it was overthrown and another government was set up. But did Thailand change? No. It's still the same. It's still its personality as a state, especially in its relation with other parts of the world, is still the same. It is still considered as an independent state. Okay? And the state is like an ideal person, like a person. But the government is only considered as instrumentality, a tool. Okay? It is a tool. Okay? T-O-O-L. It is a tool. Okay? An instrument of this political unity. So, my question, is state and government the same? Yes or no? No, they're not the same. I will ask that in the quiz. As the same way with state and nation, they're not the same also. Okay? A state is juristic or political concept, while nation is a racial or ethnic concept. And there can be a nation without there being a state. But where there is a state, there is at least one nation. And in a nation is only a racial or ethnic concept. Okay? And then we have a state may be made up of one or more nations, like United States, and a nation may occupy two or more states, like American nation, German nation, or Jewish nation. A state composed of several nations, like several nations, polynational, mono, only one. Okay? So a state presupposes a government and a definite territory, while these are not necessary for the existence of nation. A state, as I told you, there must always be a territory. Right? But a nation, not necessary. Territory is not necessary for its existence. Understand? I told you there must be people, territory, government, sovereignty. Territory is very important for a state. For a nation, not necessary. So, a state and nation, not the same. Are they the same? No. Okay? A state and government, are they the same? Yes or no? Give me a loud answer. Are they the same? Yes or no? No. Okay. Are you hungry? Yes. See, if I ask you a question about the class, you will answer me very no energy. But if I ask you, are you hungry? Yes. Very loud answer. Okay. So that's it. That's it for today. Class, your quiz will cover chapter 1 up to territory. Okay? Page 1, from page 1 to page 15. Page 1 to page 15. Differences between state and nation. Okay? We will have like only 1 hour quiz. The quiz will be, there is an essay question. You remember the question that is my favorite question for today. I will ask that. G, okay? And multiple choice, matching, fill in the blanks. That's my test. Okay? Okay, so do you understand? Yes. Okay, are you hungry? Yes. I know that. Okay, class, so that's all for today. Please be ready. The next group for news of the day next week. Okay? It's a very good class. Everyone is listening? Okay. So enjoy your lunch. Enjoy your day. See you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you.